Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. After Christmas spike in numbers of COVID-19 cases in Trinidad and Tobago, this story takes the lead in our 1027th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 13th January 2021. Details when we return. Welcome back. There has been a spike in the COVID-19 cases following the Christmas holidays in Trinidad and Tobago. Confirmation has come from the Ministry of Health, which warns that based on the behaviors seen in recent days, the curve is likely to move upward. TV6's Alicia Boucher has more in this report.
By mid-December 2020, daily positive COVID-19 cases were recorded at one of the lowest numbers that had been seen following the general election. That trend spilled over at the start of 2021, but according to Technical Director of the Epidemiological Division, Dr. Avery Hines, there is now a change.
One current trend that we have noted in the past couple of days, meaning over the past 2 days specifically, is that we're now beginning to see slightly larger numbers of cases per day than we had seen throughout the early part of the year, throughout the first 7 days or so. So whereas we had between 8 and 12 cases most times per day, we did note that there were cases rates rising into the 20s, 25, 21 over the past 2 days.
Although medical practitioners warned about engaging in the festive activities for Christmas, Dr. Hines believes the rise in cases is more than likely linked to the behind-the-scenes seasonal activities.
This may very well be as a result of any of the gathering and congregational activities that may have occurred 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago basically being the beginning of the Christmas festivities, the 25th of December come forward. We are hoping that this doesn't establish itself as a rising trend.
But the reality could be quite different, especially in light of irresponsible behaviors being portrayed by citizens. For example, the birthday party, which featured a live performance from Chatti Soca artist Ravi B, where police ticketed 71 persons for not wearing face masks. And then there was this party at Arico Bay, showing scores of persons without masks, in close proximity to each other, having a grand old time, disregarding the most basic of public health regulations. Police were forced to shut down the event, which even caused a traffic jam in the area.
While we can't account for why individuals may be choosing more and more frequently to fail to adhere to the public health guidelines, what we can tell you is that that behavior will show itself in increasing numbers of cases, as we are already beginning to see over the last couple of days.
Dr. Hines notes that a higher viral circulation among the population would result in the consequences that go along with it. The Ministry of Health is again making a call to the public to act responsibly and stick to the COVID-19 health guidelines and regulations. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
Just press OK. This is the advice from one tech expert to business WhatsApp users about the app's privacy policy change set for February 8th. Since the announcement, many people have declared their intention to leave the app and an alternative because of privacy concerns. Darren Ray says those concerns are valid, but believes there is a lot of misinformation. CNC3's Carissa Lee reports.
Since WhatsApp's announcement about a change to its privacy policy in February, many users have decided to leave the popular messaging app and flock to alternatives as privacy concerns increase. Digital anthropologist Darren Duray believes these decisions may have been made based on misinformation about what is actually set to happen.
If you've been using WhatsApp, then hardly anything is going to change for you come February 8th, when is the date that privacy policy is going to kick in. The same data that WhatsApp is already gathering from you will continue.
According to Duray, the change in policy is geared towards business accounts and will not impact the privacy of regular users.
Your personal chat messages with friends and family will continue to be secure And this is really because of WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption feature.
So what exactly will be the change? Dure explains that the same way data has been curated for users on Facebook and other websites, this will be the same for WhatsApp, as the app moves away from just being a chat tool to an e-commerce platform.
They believe that if they show you ads or content, based on things that you searched for in the past, then you would be more likely to purchase. And
it's something many businesses have endorsed, especially after losses during the pandemic.
And wouldn't you believe many businesses are looking forward to this release because, particularly in this time of COVID,
the digital expert says when businesses agree to the terms and conditions on February 8th, there will not be an immediate change, and he's not sure how many of these features will be available here at home. However, he does believe that the messaging company erred with the language used for the change as it came across as forceful. He hopes by February 8th there would be an option to choose, but for now believes there is no harm in just clicking OK. Carissa Lee, CNC3 News.
Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown says he's considering legislative changes on when parliamentarians become pensionable. ABS's Jessica Russell reports.
On the basis that we have had to increase the age for all public servants, then we have to increase the age for the parliamentarians for their eligibility to draw a pension. So perhaps up to 55 or 60.
In 2019, Parliament passed a bill to increase the retirement age for civil servants from 60 to 65. Last year, legislation was also passed to move the pension age for police officers to that age, but former parliamentarians can currently access a pension at 50.
A man may come in just before an election, a year or two before an election, wins a seat, then he serves for 5 more years and he wins a second time. So his total contribution to the public sector would have been maybe about 6-7 years. And he ends up getting a pension from age 50. There's something fundamentally wrong about that.
Prime Minister Brown says the current legislation can result in people entering politics simply for the benefits.
If you're not committed and you're opportunistic, all you'll do, you try and get the 2 terms, which could even happen within a 7-year period, get your full pension, and then, just turn your back on the people.
Jessica Russell, ABS News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
U.S. oil major ExxonMobil has started drilling in the Bulletwood 1 well site on the Kanji block offshore Guyana. HGP's Wendell Badri has some details.
The Bulletwood well is being spud by the Stena Current drillship in the Kanji block offshore Guyana with an estimated production of 500 million barrels of oil. This is the first well to be drilled in the Kanji block. The news was shared by Westmount Energy, an indirect partner in the Kanji block. Westmount owns an indirect interest in the Kanji block as a result of a 7.2% interest in the issued share capital of JHI Associates. Citing a statement by the Maritime Administration Department of Guyana dated January 1st, 2021, Westmount said that the Stena Current drillship had arrived on location at the Bulletwood 1 well site on the Kanji block offshore Guyana and has commenced drilling operations. Westmount said that based upon the announcement by the Maritime Administration Department, drilling operations at Bulletwood 1 are scheduled to be completed on or before the 23rd of February 2021. Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat is quoted as saying that the government is pleased by the report and looks forward to further prospects in the area. The Kanji block is situated some 180 kilometers offshore Guyana and spans some 4,800 square kilometers. While ExxonMobil is the operator of the block, it also shares a 35% interest in the block with oil conglomerate Total, possessing an equal amount of interest as Exxon. JHI owns a 17.5% stake, while Mid-Atlantic Oil and Gas bags a 12.5% stake in the block. The Kanji block has been a source of contention since 2015, after it was revealed that former President Donald Ramotar had awarded the block to local company Mid-Atlantic Oil and Gas days before the 2015 election, even though the company did not possess the assets, track record, or even finances to operate on the block. Further, the owners and/or shareholders of the company were unknown to the public. Suspicions of corruption surfaced after the company began selling shares to larger oil companies weeks after gaining possession of the block. To date, it remains unknown what price was paid for shares in the block by ExxonMobil as well as other partners. It is also being preferred that the country might have lost billions of dollars in revenue as a result of not properly advertising the block prior to awarding contracts. Wendell Badry, HGP Nightly News.
Motor vehicular incidents accounted for the majority of the fire department's weekend responses. Firefighters also continue to administer care to gunshot victims as their pleas for conflict resolution are ignored. Colby DeVoe of HTS News Force provides some details.
Gun violence continues to plague the island's communities. Over the weekend, emergency responders treated 2 males for gunshot wounds in Castries and Bruceville View Fort. The echo of gun violence, a now all too familiar soundtrack to life in even the most bucolic of locations in St. Lucia, reverberated throughout the early morning air in Bruceville Monday morning.
At approximately 12:13 a.m. on Monday, January 11th, 2021, the View Fort Fire Station received a call for a shooting at Bruceville View Fort. Responding officers found a 25-year-old male standing near the roadside. He was assessed and found conscious with a puncture wound to his leg. He was treated and transported to the St. Jude Hospital.
While the Castries shooting was recorded on Friday, January 8th, 2021.
On Friday, January 8th, 2021, at approximately 3 p.m., Fire Service Headquarters responded to a call for a gunshot wound at Roseau, Castries. Emergency personnel were presented with a 31-year-old male who, upon assessment, was found to be conscious with penetrating wounds to his leg. He was treated and transported to the OKEU Hospital, where he was handed over to the medical staff in a stable condition.
A number of motor vehicular crashes were also reported across the island, including collisions at Shock Hill and Babonneau. Moreover, emergency officers also found themselves at the scene of a rare crash in Beanfield View Fort.
Officers of the Grosley Fire Station also responded to a vehicle fire at Corinth, Grosley, at approximately 6 p.m. on Friday, January 8th. Responding officers found a Hyundai minivan ablaze in a parking lot, with the fire threatening a nearby electrical pole. The fire was extinguished with no injury to anyone. The vehicle was significantly damaged by the fire. On Saturday, January 9th, 2021, at approximately 9 p.m., the View Fort Fire Station responded to a rare impact collision between a Honda Inspire and an Audi at Beanfield View Fort. 2 patients were assessed and found conscious with general body pain. They were transported to the hospital and handed over to the medical staff in a stable condition.
Firefighters also treated a driver in Monnier-Babonneau whose vehicle veered into a storm drain.
The sole occupant was found in a vehicle which had veered off the road and collided head-on with a concrete culvert. The patient was assessed and found conscious, complaining of pain to her arm. She was treated and transported to the OKEU Hospital and handed over to the medical staff in a stable condition.
Additionally, a patient refused medical attention at an accident scene in Rodney Bay, Grosley on January 10th. The Micoud Fire Station also responded to a call in Marguerite, Micoud, which involved a rollover incident resulting in a vehicle ending up in a wheels-up position in a drain. Colby DeVoe, HTS News Force.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.